In our previous segment, we discussed about variables and secrets. We have created variables and secrets in GitHub repository. And we called that particular variables and secrets within our workflow. Now we are going to capture the output of each step and we would be mapping it in the desired field. Good day guys, my name is Melvin Satishan. Today we are going to discuss about outputs. As you know that we have a workflow called practice workflow and we have a job called development, and assign the username is my first task or the step. Assume that we have a variable here and that variable will be assigning it into some keyword and the same thing to be called somewhere else. In that case, we have to use the output feature. In our case, steps, we have a step name here, but we have to give a unique ID for the step. That ID name, I will say that username step. Any name you can give it. It's not a big deal. Once you provide the ID, step ID, next thing you have to divert. So in this case, I have a username and I'm calling this username from the environment. That value I have as I am assigning it into name of candidate. So if I take the value of a name of candidate, my username, this username is again coming from the GitHub variables. Okay. Now I have a key and a value. This key and a value I am redirecting it into a magic variable called GitHub underscore output. In this magic variable, all the job standard outs can be passed to this GitHub underscore output so that as and when we need it, we can easily retrieve it. Also, we appended this key value pair to GitHub output. One more thing we need to define it here. We have to define one more parameter called outputs. It's basically a standard key outputs. Under that outputs, I can define something like this. Any name you can define it. I would like to mention the same value over here. How do we declare that? So I'm going to call this parameter. Okay. Now we are going to do it from here to here. We need to reach till this level, right? So for that, first we will be taking the steps. So it is located under steps dot. Then we have to define the step unique ID. So that is called user name hyphen step. Then where it is located, it's in the output. Basically, this is basically an output. So I have to mention outputs. Outputs. In the outputs where, which outputs do we need? We need name of the candidate, right? So that is going to be our name of candidate. Candidate. All right. So name of candidate. We have provided steps, username hyphen step, and outputs name of candidate. Now this key value pair is saved to this name of candidate, or I would say my name. I can give anything here in the outputs field. So it starts from here to here. So all these parameters are here. Now I have another task which I need to, or I have another step which will print my the output value. So how do we do that? Print the output value. In that case, I don't need this part, ID, I don't need it. I'm going to do echo and I'll take out this one. In this case, what I have to mention here is the user name is dollar double quote. Inside that we have to define one thing. Since this is in the same job and the other step is its siblings, I can call it directly from here. So it is going to be steps dot, then I have to mention username hyphen step, that particular step ID. Then I have to mention outputs. Then I have to mention the value. What is the value that I'm going to give? I have to copy this value so that the desired output would be getting it here. The username is so and so. Let's execute this. Then we'll look at it into a different job part. So for that, I'm going to mention something, update. I'll say update and it has been updated here. Then we are going to sync the changes. Once we sync the change, let's refresh the window. It is printing something. Let's look at it. Perfect. Something has happened. Print the output value. If you look at it, the username is Melvin. So it has already been printed here. How did we call it? We call it using this method. Now assume that I have a different job. So that is completely independent. And completely independent in the sense, for running this, I have a runner, and the other job, there will be another a runner. In that case, it is very difficult for us to pass this task within that part. For that reason, we are using this outputs and my name. So how do we achieve that? Let me copy these parameters again. I'll put it here. This is going to be test. And I would say I don't want this part, but I need to make sure that this job is going to be serially executed. Once development is completed, we are going to deploy the test. That part is fine. Then we are going to do next. And here, rather than this echo, here I'm going to say print the development variable. That would be my task, and I don't want this step anymore or the unique ID anymore. I'm going to mention here as the user name we took from the from the development is. This is going to be interesting. Okay, here it is needs, right? So I'm going to take needs dot, I need to take the job name here. Here is the job name dot, then I need to go output. So here is the outputs, and in this outputs we have already declared our variable, so that is called my name. So I'm going to mention the my name. So the username we took from the development is so and so. Now let's update it and see. Updated the outputs. It's very tricky. Now we will go back to the GitHub action. Updated the outputs. So it is executing serially rather than parallelly. Let's look at what's happening in the first workflow. So first workflow has been completed successfully. It printed username is so and so, and the message whatever we required, that has been printed. Now we will go back to the action again and output. Then the second one, how it went well. Print the development variable. If you look at the username we took from the development is Melvin. So this is what also happened. So this way we can pass the desired output of, of particular step to a common variable, and that can be passed across various steps. These are just basically a shell prompt, and we would be dealing with Python and the JavaScripts, so that we will use a different method to inject our outputs and take it out. So until then, we will take a break now, because I hope you are very clear, because this is basic concept we should understand in a very clear manner. That's the reason we are not giving any kind of, or we are not exploring any kind of complex examples. If we know the basics, from here we can define anything else, or whatever we want. So always remember that whenever you would be declaring some output, make sure that you would be taking it into the output segment. So you will be consolidating it, so that you will be very clear that where the output is coming, and it will have a better visibility. In case of any changes, you don't need to change everywhere. In that particular area, you can do the fine tuning. Okay, so that's it from my side now. If you have any concerns or any queries related to this topic, feel free to comment it. So I'll look into it, and I will try to answer the questions. Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye.